All right, so I would like to talk to you today about something that's super important for getting ahead in your career. And it's been on my mind a bit lately because, of course, of clients that we've been working with, as well as for my own stuff, my own reasons. And this is how important it is to actually ask for what you want and to be able to ask for this directly. So many times we are waiting. We might often don't even realize we're waiting to be invited to something, to be asked to participate or asked for our opinion or asked for our time, right? To get time with somebody or get an opportunity. We're waiting for that invitation. But we may not even realize that we're waiting, right? We're kind of hoping this thing would happen. So the power of asking for what we want is really great, and it comes in a couple different ways. First of all, just directly asking for what we want can definitely makes it clear so that we're avoiding any kind of uncertainty about the situation. So we ask for something directly and we can get an answer, maybe right then, maybe in the future, but we know that we've been clear, and so we've taken that question mark out of the equation. We know that we've been clear. Also, there is such a huge psychological benefit to going through the process of making that ask, especially when it's uncomfortable. I'm talking about when we might feel some resistance. Like, first of all, we're thinking that maybe it's not even coming to mind that we should ask, and then if we think about making that ask, we can find a resistance to it. Like, okay, this is going to be kind of awkward. What if they say no? What if we're having a fear of rejection? What if I'm planning to ask about this and it doesn't quite come out right and I end up sounding confused or awkward, or it just goes badly in the moment? These are all things that we can worry about. So when we actually go ahead anyway and make that ask, even though we're nervous, that gives us, and the world doesn't come crumbling down. Every time we do that, that's building up our confidence to just do it again and again, and it gets easier and easier. Now, I do want to make one caveat here, which is that if you're in a situation where you want something like to be invited to an event, to have a more prominent role with something that you're involved in, and you're thinking this is maybe something that I should ask for, but there are perhaps political issues in play. I don't mean big politics, but internal politics at play, or you feel like there could be an issue of bias that you're trying to work around. In those cases, I would never advise somebody blindly just go ask no matter what. It's all in your head, and you need to just get over that and ask no matter what. If based on your own experience, you are feeling that there's a reason that has to do with somebody else, like the other party or the other parties, or the situation that's not about you, that would make it unwise to put yourself out there without more consideration, without maybe some guidance from a mentor, then trust yourself on that, right? Because I have seen and experienced myself even kind of like high levels of encouragement to, oh, go do this thing, it's fine, just do it, and then something inside of you is saying, I don't really think that this is a good idea right now. Follow what your intuition on that. But the thing to do here is to learn how to differentiate between a legitimate concern about putting yourself out there that really doesn't have to do with you, and resisting putting yourself out there when it's really all you. If you're saying, okay, all of the nervousness and anxiety that I feel about putting myself out there is really coming from me and my stuff, then that is what you want to overcome. So examples here would be something as small as asking for someone's time directly. If there is someone that you're hoping to talk to at an upcoming event, you're hoping to catch them in the hall, you're hoping that a conversation would happen with this person. That's a small, relatively small thing probably, but that's something that you can go ahead and ask that person directly for maybe 30 minutes of their time, or 15 minutes, or an hour, or whatever makes sense. Another thing would be participation in different kinds of events. Like if you are wanting to be invited to kinds of workshops or special opportunities within a conference, these are things you can ask for, and you actually can be helping the other person, because it's quite likely that they are looking for people, and they may have not done all the outreach that they want to do because they're busy like everyone else. They may not know that you exist, so they're not going to think to invite you. They may be thinking, oh, that person, I know they have small kids, or they have this situation, they're doing a lot of travel, so I don't think that they would be a good person to ask, because I don't want to make them feel obligated to do this. Well, okay, we don't know. People are thinking all kinds of stuff all the time. We have no idea. We can't read minds. So by putting yourself out there and asking for that opportunity, then again, it takes away any question mark like that, and you'll feel relieved. That's what I have felt when I have gone ahead and directly asked for things. I generally felt a lot of relief and proud of myself. Then whatever the outcome may be, you really will feel good when you do that. I was thinking about, on the other side of this, just recently, I was driving to a meeting, and I got a phone call, and it was from a salesperson, or a banker, someone at my local bank. And I have a small business. There's not vast sums of money, or vast number of transactions going through there all the time, but it's definitely, things are coming along, right? And I have robust enough accounts there. So she asked me about how the service was going, and if I was interested in some financial products that she's selling effectively, right? And I was so relieved that she asked me about this stuff, because these were things that I had been thinking about. I'd been thinking about getting a line of credit for my business, because the advice is, okay, go get that line of credit when you don't need it, right? Because if you do find yourself in a jam, then you're in a weaker position to ask for a loan, ask for credit or money. So I was thinking, oh yeah, I should probably just open a line of credit. I also had a issue with a personal account at that same bank where I had not been using that account often, and it created a login issue. So these were two things that she was able to help me with, and I was able to get the bulk of this conversation done while I was driving to a meeting, and it was super, super efficient. It's a win-win, right? So this was just a perfect example of someone who called me and said, kind of apologetically, like, she's kind of interrupting the day, and she's a salesperson, that kind of thing. But she was the perfect person for me to hear from, and that was the perfect time to answer the call when I'm driving and I'm not doing anything else anyway. And all of this stuff actually got wrapped up yesterday. I was in the branch. I was able to meet this person, and I really love my bank, semi-local, First Citizens, thank you. But now there's a name to a face, and it's a very important relationship, right? When you have a business. So remember this when you're thinking about making an ask, because you don't know what a relief you could actually be providing to the person on the other end of that ask. It can be stressful to think about these things and prepare ourselves to do them, but just remember that if what you're really fearing is like awkwardness, which is usually mostly what it is. It's awkwardness, and yeah, there can be like deeper psychological reasons behind that. We don't have to get into all of that here, but to ask yourself the question, this is what I ask myself when I'm thinking about putting myself out there, and something maybe makes me a little nervous. It's like, okay, is this awkwardness that I may experience enough to let it impact my family's future, right? Like my career, my how I can provide financially for my family and their future, and the service that I can be providing to others, right? So if I just think about, again, my own self, my family, and the people that we serve, is that little bit of awkwardness that I may experience enough to keep me from supporting clients, new prospective clients, myself and my own dreams and future, and the future of my family? So no, obviously that stuff is like orders and orders and orders of magnitude greater importance and value than some small amount of awkwardness that I might feel. So maybe ask yourself that question next time you're thinking about making that ask.